idea of morality has been mentioned by both sides. It's been mostly invoked by Mr. Eisenstadt, saying that we can't end this special relationship because it would be undermining the morality that is what the special relationship is. And I would like to ask you, Mr. Eisenstadt, why the principle of morality is not being applied to the case of the Palestinians. So when you discuss that justice and fairness is important, what would justice and fairness look like in the West Bank and Gaza? What can Israel do for justice and fairness to exist there?
Are you asking what Israel can do or what the U.S. can do? Because I'd like to stay more towards our
U.S. and Israel.
Okay, thank you. Fair enough. Stuart Eisenstadt.
I think it's a very good question. And it is a moral imperative of the United States not only to support Israel's independence and security, but also to see to it that the Palestinians have a decent standard of living and a state of their own. It is the United States of America that is the major economic supplier of aid to the Palestinians. Okay? Not France, not Germany, not the UK, not Russia. It is the United States. Number two, right now, as we speak, General Dayton, a three-star general, is in the process of training over 20,000 Palestinian police who are in places like Jenin, now able to take over security and allowing the Israeli Defense Forces to withdraw. So the United States is supporting economically, militarily, in every other way, the effort of the Palestinians to develop their state.
Woman on the balcony, and just give a minute for the camera to find you.
My name is Danielle Brown. I'm from a student at the Argo Program of Leadership and Diplomacy, the Interdisciplinary Center here at Herzliya in Israel, which just arrived 2 days ago. My question is about U.S. public opinion, because as we saw in the last presidential debate, as in all presidential debates, the one thing that both candidates always agree on is the special relationship with Israel. And this is not a coincidence. This is because all studies and all polls show that the United States public supports this special relationship. Now,
so what's your question?
So my question is, of course, to Mr. Cohen and Professor Haladi, isn't it a shame that this the public support of the people, isn't it a shame to American democracy that this is not factored into this debate?
Well,
Roger Cohen.
thank you for that question. It makes any adjustment in U.S. policy toward Israel, such as President Obama is now trying to accomplish, extremely difficult. There's a state called Florida. It's a vital state in the U.S. presidential election. It has a large Jewish community. This calculation is not lost on America's political leadership. President Obama, I understand, has been told by some Jewish congressmen, if you want your health bill, step back on Israel. So the reality is, indeed, that it is very hard. I have heard that reliably. The reality of the situation is that it is extremely difficult to steer U.S. public opinion in any way toward any acceptance of an adjustment of policy toward the State of Israel. I think it should be done in the following terms. The President should explain that the adjustments he is making are in pursuit of peace and in pursuit of the long-term peace and security of the State of Israel. Policies up to now have failed. Therefore, we should see a change.
Stuart Eisenstadt.
I was wondering how long it would take and who would raise the issue of quote-unquote untoward Jewish influence over U.S. foreign policy. And Roger, you finally came to it. And let me just say, I've served in 3 administrations.
I didn't say untoward.
This is a dangerous canard that 2% of the U.S. population has somehow got its hand around the neck of American foreign policy. American foreign policy toward Israel is supported by a bipartisan majority because the American public recognizes that Israel and the United States share common interests and common values. And those are
Free.
And those are always counterbalanced by oil interests, by corporate interests that have major defense interests, major business interests. That's the way policy is made in the United States. It's the clash of interests. But the notion that 2% of the U.S. population is driving a policy against where the public thinks is simply belied by every survey that's been made.
Nobody said that.
That's a straw man, Stuart.
Very short advice. Maybe you should elect the president from Alaska where there are no Jews.
All right, Woody. You would like that.
There's a gentleman with the blazer and sweater. This may be our last question.
Can't see him.
My name is Alan Skolnick. Israel, as many of you know, has 1.2 million Arabs living in Israel. There are probably more mosques in Israel than there may be close to synagogues in Europe. With that background in mind, the presumption that we hear all during the discussion of the course of this debate is that a Palestinian state, if it was to be, would have to be essentially without any Jews. The whole discussion is that settlements is the biggest impediment to peace. I'll throw something out of the box, Roger Cohn. Why does the Palestinian position, which I think might engender a better U.S. special relationship, why isn't it built on a basis of inclusion, even at the scant chance of a minority of Jews, and establish itself on enforcing minority rights even for Jews, and demonstrate its moral character and its commitment to peace, instead of having to give us a constant reiteration of a new Arab country that will be one more without any Jews.
Dr. Cohen.
Thank you, sir. I'm not sure there are many Israelis who would want to go and live in the West Bank. There are some who live there. I'm not going to argue with you, sir, that Israel is by far the most liberal and democratic state in the region. It has a free press. It has a relatively independent judiciary. It has a democratic system. It has remarkable achievements in technology and its economy. It has everything except peace. And what we're talking about tonight is how best to steer this remarkable society toward what it's questing for. And I don't think it's through the policies Israel is currently pursuing or through the current backing that the United States is giving for those policies. That is what we are debating. Would a Palestinian state, if it ever comes into being, should it offer equality of opportunity for citizens of all race, religion, background, etc.? Yes, it should.